Hello and welcome to Salubrious Skin with Dr. Irene podcast. This podcast is all about how to attain healthier skin. You may be struggling with a skin condition such as psoriasis or eczema or acne, or perhaps a condition that causes the skin to become unhealthy, such as PCOS or irritable bowel or Crohn's disease. Regardless of what your condition is, healthy skin is attained by having a healthy body. So my mission is about bringing a huge array of experts to your attention in various areas of health. I hope you find this information knowledgeable and insightful and helpful for your specific journey in having better health. Remember to always connect with us through Facebook at Dr. Irene Prantelos, Psoriasis and Healthy Skin. You can email me at info@salubre.com.au. I hope you enjoy the show, and please feel free to give us any sort of insight into what you feel you need to hear in future episodes. Hello and welcome to Salubrious Skin with Dr. Irene. Today I'll be talking to Christine Hart-Savage. Now, Christine is an expert in the field of breathing, stress and anxiety management, life coaching and metaphysical science, and is known as the Breathing Lady. Now, she is a published author, an inspirational, warm and dynamic trainer, an educator, coach, practitioner and speaker. Christine is a national breathwork trainer, breath awareness coach, stress and anxiety management trainer, meditation teacher, health counsellor, mentor and life coach. She educates people about the importance of managing life through correct breathing, thinking and action. Hello, Christine.
Hello, Irene. How are you?
I'm good.
Gee, that's a big spiel.
It is, isn't it? I needed to set the foundation for people to understand why you're so important and why I needed you on my show.
I'm just a regular person doing all of those things. So it's, yeah, I thought, gee, you know how you don't realise some of the things that you do. But yes, I'm a regular person.
Yeah. Now, a reason
thanks for having me on the show. It's great to be on your show.
Oh, thank you. Well, I've known you for some time now because I'm always coming onto your radio show. And I, you know, we both have that passion of health and helping people. So you run a regular show on Southern FM. Would you want to tell the listeners a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's called Mind. What is it? No, it's not called that.
Mind, Body, Heart and Soul.
Thank you. I was just thinking about something totally different that I do then. Yes, it's called Mind, Body, Heart and Soul. Yeah. And it's on 88.3 Southern FM in Brighton, where the studio is. Once a month on a Monday.
Yeah, every first Monday at 10 a.m.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And you have awesome guests, and I've been one of them.
You have been one of them on numerous occasions.
I'm tooting my own horn. You have amazing guests on the show.
And it's a lot of fun, isn't it?
It is. I have so much fun when I'm there, and a few little giggles here and there doesn't hurt. But the reason why
good for the soul.
Yeah. The reason I wanted you on this show was because we always talk about your work around breathing, and as a Chinese medicine practitioner, I'm familiar with it because it's all about the lung qi. And when we're talking about skin health, the lung qi is so integral to support the health of the skin. But it kind of seems silly to just say the skin, where it's actually every single cell in the body. So what do you do with helping people to breathe better, or what is it exactly what you do with breath?
Look, most people originally come in feeling pretty stressed.
Yeah.
So they'll be stressed, or they might be having anxiety, or they can't sleep because they're anxious, or they'll come in with, some people have quite severe panic attacks.
Okay.
Others will be in overwhelm, that sort of thing. So that tells me straight away that their breathing is not good.
Yeah. So it's very shallow.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of the things that happens when we have some sort of emotion happening with us, which we all do all the time. Is, we live in this sea of emotion. So learning to control our emotion, and when I say control, it's an interesting word because it's about letting go of control that gives us control back over our lives.
Yes.
So we constantly have this sea of emotions that are going on.
Yeah.
And every time we have a trigger or we're emotional, the breathing changes.
Right. Okay.
And most people are completely unaware of their breath.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, if we had to be aware of our breath all the time and breathe, like consciously breathe, we'd be dead pretty quickly. Because we
that's
do
the
not
thing.
think about our breath.
So being involuntary,
yes.
the emotions will then change this involuntary action. So if you're feeling stressed or if you're angry, the breathing will change. And sometimes when people maintain that emotion for a long period of time, their breathing sustains that type of rhythm. Or
yes. What happens? From when we're about, it's young, 3 to 4.
Okay.
Young babies, they breathe so beautifully.
Yeah.
And you watch them, they just breathe so easily, and it's full and it's correct. Yeah. And by the time we're about 3 or 4 and we've been told no thousands of times, we shut the breathing down.
Okay.
So, but, often little children will enter school, primary school or kinder, and their breathing's pretty good. By the time they come out the other end in year 6, their breathing's already quite shut down.
And what shuts it down? What do you mean by the being told no? Is it the emotions that shut it down?
Yeah, it's the way there's an attachment between the thoughts we have, the emotions we have, and what happens inside us.
Okay.
So we have so many rules in life. And you watch little children, they're so joyous. And as we go through life, the joy sort of diminishes bit by bit because we're not allowed to be free spirits.
Yeah.
And, I'm a realist. We have to have order. We need rules in life. Otherwise, there'd be complete chaos.
Yeah.
But we're not taught how to breathe through things. So when we're upset by something, the breathing becomes very shallow, or we may hold the breath.
Oh, right.
And it becomes short and shallow.
Yeah.
And if we continue to do that, that becomes our so-called normal breathing pattern, even though it's not normal.
Yeah. Okay.
So it builds and builds and builds in your system, and you're retraining your breathing in a very improper way.
Yeah.
So when people are having, say, a panic attack, I used to have panic attacks. That's how I got into this field, really severe panic attacks.
Yeah. I'm
going back 30 years, and I had them for years and didn't know what was wrong with me, but it's anxiety.
Yeah.
So when someone's having a panic attack, there's a certain way we have to breathe.
Yeah.
We have to hold breath.
Sorry, there was a bit of a disruption at that moment.
The door breathe. And your eyes nearly popped out of your head. I love that.
I was like, I am in the middle of talking to Christine and you just decided to just come in the door.
Well, I like that. So what happens is the door breathes then, so that's fine.
For those of you watching, my husband decided to just come in. Those of you listening, you didn't.
Hello, husband.
Go away,
and so,
husband.
Of course, Irene, this is one of the things that happens in life where there's always incidents that are totally unexpected, and we have to learn to breathe well when those things happen.
Yeah.
So and you probably just held your breath then.
I did. I was like, what are you doing?
Exactly. It was a great example. I think you staged that.
He did it actually at the best moment possible.
Perfect time. So what happens is when life doesn't go as we would like it to go, or even if we're having negative thoughts or an incident happens totally unexpected, we usually hold our breath on some level, whether it's a big one or a little holding, and then we shallow breathe, and we're breathing really quite high in the chest when we're doing that. Yeah. There's not a lot of oxygen, a lot of energy flowing into the body at that point. So we actually suppress the emotion we're feeling. We really push it down into the body, and that's where it stays until we learn to breathe correctly and start to release what's built up in the system.
Okay. That's amazing. So you can actually dislodge that emotion by learning how to breathe. So do your clients often get emotional during their sessions then? Like, does it actually come to the surface?
It can.
Yeah.
It can. It depends on how much charge is in the body.
Okay.
Sometimes people will laugh.
Oh,
Because
right.
that
Okay.
can be a release. It's all sorts of different releases. Other times they might cry. Other times they might feel sensations in the body, like tingling and little pressures and just different things in the body. And if you
That's
keep
just
breathing,
the chi moving in that moment.
exactly. So it's releasing the charge, the energy blockage in the system, which also has attached thought patterns, certain ways of thinking.
Right.
It has that emotional feeling to it, and it lodges in the body physically, in the cellular level of the body. So that starts to move through. And what happens is an integration in the whole body. So if we look at it, we can look at it from a scientific perspective as well, like the autonomic nervous system and how it balances the sympathetic and parasympathetic sides of the nervous system.
Yeah.
And it starts to balance both sides of the brain.
Right.
But if we look at it from another angle as well, so we've got, it depends on your belief system. You could even say like the soul or the spiritual part of us, or the higher intelligence or the inner intelligence.
Yeah.
And then we have the mental thinking part of ourselves.
Yeah.
And then we have the emotional part of ourselves, and then the physical.
Right.
So what it does, they all get out of alignment. And so when we learn to breathe well for a period of time, all of that starts to line up and they sync together or line up. So there's a coherence that starts to happen.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So it's about really being more present as well, making the act of being present easier. Because I think people then say to them, be present, and they go, yes, yes, and then they go off again. It's because it's misaligned, and that's why they can't remain in that present moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, okay.
So, most of us walk around and we're just not present. We're not aligned most of the time. Yeah. So that means in a way that we're missing life. We're missing what's actually happening right now because we're in something else that's going on in our head and our emotional state. And when we know we've been triggered, you'll feel it in your solar plexus.
Okay. So where is the solar plexus so people can...
The solar plexus, can I stand up and show you? It's just under your ribs here.
So in the stomach almost.
Yeah, it's high under the ribs. There's a thick domed muscle.
Right.
And that is your solar plexus, or the solar plexus is actually a big round ball here. Okay. But this is your diaphragm area.
Yeah.
And that's where we tend to feel it, in the solar plexus, which is the feeling center of human beings. It's actually like a brain, and it's got this ganglion mass of nerves in there. And really, they call it a brain now. Yeah. So we've got a brain in the heart. We have a brain in the stomach area.
So that's when people say, go with your gut. Go with your gut instinct for something.
Now, that's an interesting one because there's two sides with going with your gut. There is the intuitive side, where it's that sense that you should or shouldn't do something. Yeah. And then there is the charged side, which means that we've been triggered. There's an attachment energetically that is, so we've dropped into non-presence at that point. We've dropped into a part of us that is in a blockage, and it's going to act out. Okay.
It'll act out to create disharmony in the body.
Disharmony in the body, disharmony in our feelings, disharmony in our thinking, and disharmony in our relationships and our world. Yes.
So all this, not being aligned, so not having all those levels aligned, that can then impact the way we perceive things and our relationships and our communication, really, can't it?
Definitely. It's like we're looking through a clear lens. Yeah. It's something that is present and is actually happening in present time. We're really in the now. Yeah. And then if something happens and we get triggered and that charge, that emotion comes up and you feel it in the solar plexus. Yeah. And suddenly we change glasses and we might be looking through a dark red pair of glasses. Right. And so we're not seeing what the true colour of the event is. Yeah. We're seeing things through our own issues.
Right. Yeah. that makes
so
sense.
it's that we can start to work through and clear so that we become more whole as a being.
Yeah.
And our relationships work even better, and we become more of our full potential in life.
And I think many of us are really or aren't present, because even when we're doing an activity like even now that I'm talking to you, my brain can go off and go, okay, what's for dinner? I can't believe my husband just disrupted my interview. That's going to look terrible. I'm speaking to such and such. You know, your brain just doesn't really sit in that present moment. It's always thinking ahead of time. So by having that alignment and having and managing it with breath, essentially, isn't it? Your breath is managing that alignment. You're able to really enjoy life so much more.
Absolutely. And the breath is the anchor.
Okay.
If you really learn to breathe well and you become breath aware, meaning that you really notice when you go out of balance, you notice if you're triggered and in your solar plexus, or your breathing becomes held, or it becomes shallow, then you can think, I've stopped breathing, or I'm shallow breathing. And you can take control of your breathing once you know how to breathe correctly.
Yeah.
And that will maintain a balance within you see, what happens is, if we look at energy, when you're holding your breath or shallow breathing, your energy field pushes in on you and you feel stressed.
So
you
it's
feel
contracting.
tight in your body. Yeah, it's contracting. So when you know how to breathe well, it pushes your energy outward and actually creates space, and harmony, and more a calm feeling within you. So then you can make different choices.
Yeah, that's interesting, because sometimes I can even feel claustrophobic, even if I'm in the house, which is open spaces. But if the doors aren't open, I feel trapped. I need to open the door, which essentially is air, but I'm not utilizing the air to its fullest capacity, really. And so that's where I'm feeling, I guess, that trapped sensation.
Yeah. Yes, so, I certainly understand that with claustrophobia. That's one of my anxiety things that I used to have as well.
So you know how you said with children, because I notice this a lot with my little boy, and you know that authentic state where he is now of the world is beautiful, people are all beautiful, that trust for everyone. I know the ball's going to drop at some point. People are telling me it kind of drops a lot earlier than you anticipate. But if it takes that period of time for them to get a disruptive breathing process, so you said by the time they're in grade 6, how long would it take to kind of reverse that if someone's been breathing like that their whole life, more or less?
Yeah, the really great thing is my grandson was a mouth breather when he was younger. So I used to just say to him, when he was about 2, I started, and I just push his lips together, not his mouth, just his lips, and say, just keep your lips together. You know, so you don't want them to clench their jaw or anything. They can keep their jaw nice and relaxed. Just put your lips together and breathe through your nose. See, we're better off if the native women that carry their babies on their body, it's great because the baby's head flops down onto their chest.
Yes.
So then they have no choice but to breathe through their nose.
Right.
And what we tend to do is put our babies on the back, and I'm not a medical doctor, but what I've noticed is the different breathing patterns over the last, 20 odd years. So what we tend to do is put our babies on their back and their heads go back and of course their mouth opens. So we've got a lot of mouth breathers, which is not the efficient way to breathe. Right. We should be breathing through the nose.
So actually, when someone, this has happened to me at the gym, I've had a stitch during, I like to do aerobic classes, fitness classes, and during like a kind of a difficult moment, I actually get a stitch, and I start closing my mouth, and because I don't realize the entire time I'm actually breathing through my mouth. Yes. As soon as I start breathing through my nose, within a few minutes, a stitch is alleviated.
Yeah, it will ease it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So is it breathing through your nose and exhaling through your mouth?
The way I teach my clients is to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it's a connected breath because we hold our breath so much. We want to reverse that holding.
Yeah.
And actually retrain the breathing. So you can start to train your children when they're quite young to become breath aware.
Yeah.
Just put your lips together, breathe through your nose, and just teach them, really gentle, nice, expansive breathing.
Yeah.
And look, within a very short time, I called it heart breathing for my grandson. And I would just do this whirl and he would just start breathing immediately once he was good at it.
Yeah.
And his breathing is beautiful. So, when I do a biofeedback and put him on my little measure thing that I have, his breathing was in perfect balance and it was beautiful. Really
that's
beautiful.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so he's a good breather. So we can all learn to retrain our breathing. And the one great thing about breathing is you're packing it the whole time. So you can't leave home without it. So it doesn't matter if you find yourself in any situation.
Yes.
You have your breathing. So you've got this anchor, this tool there that when you practice, it will become a great skill. It's fantastic. And it's really changed my life from where I was.
It's almost like getting yourself in a meditative state too, isn't it?
It can be. It can be used
calming.
For that. Yeah, very, very calming. But it also can make you very aware and very alert.
Yeah.
But unstressed in that. Very calm and very alert.
Yeah. And you kind of feel that when you're in the city. I don't go to the city much, but if I have a seminar to go to, energetically the whole CBD area feels tense and stressed and people are rushing around. And I think everyone's really breathing shallow. So can you, if you're in that aligned state, can you get affected energetically by someone else? If you're in a corporate world and you're around a lot of people that are stressed and shallow breathers, does that impact or you're kind of just stick with your own mechanism?
Well, this is where the work begins. Okay. It's the test in life is to be aware that you're in that environment and to be holding your energy field at a certain level and be breath aware. Being aware of your energy and being able to hold it there. And that takes practice. Yeah. It does take practice.
And probably practice outside of a work environment so that then it becomes almost automatic because if you're busy doing your errands or whatever, you're not kind of thinking. So
exactly. So it's the retraining. So there's certain practices I give people to use their breath as well as using their mind and understanding their emotional state. When we pull it all together, there's practices we do in different ways every day where it all starts to come together in any situation.
Yep.
But, life is, we don't have to go looking for events to practice with because they just happen all the time.
They do.
This morning, I've got to tell you what happened this morning. So where we live is like an apartment of 3 stories.
Yeah.
In this, so we get fit running up and down the stairs. Well, I was in the bathroom. I'd been to my Pilates class and came home getting ready.
Yeah.
And in the bathroom, suddenly I heard all this beeping, like beep, 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 beep.
Oh.
I thought, that's the smoke alarm.
Oh.
My partner must be home. Well, I ran up here. It was so loud and he wasn't home. And I thought, that's so strange. So I'm pushing it because he's really tall and can just push it and it stops. Yeah. And I'm trying to get chairs and hop up and push this thing and it wouldn't stop. I finally opened the thing with force. I didn't know how to open it and took the battery out.
Yeah.
And it was still going. So I went down to the next level. There were 3 levels and 3 of them were all going off. So I've had to carry ladders down, get these things all going off. But the bottom level, I didn't take the battery out. So I came back up and I was, opened my computer ready for the interview. And then I hear that going down the bottom. So I had to take the ladder back down the bottom, take the battery out of that.
Oh my goodness.
So I was breathing the whole time because it was so loud. When you're in that situation where something is feeling like it's violent and it's attacking you.
Yeah.
So the breathing helps you all sorts of situations, even things like that. So I've done my exercise running up and down the stairs and breathing before the interview.
Oh my goodness. So you kept that rhythm of breath even in that stressful state. So,
yes, exactly.
So have you noticed, do people ever come to you that have actual health conditions? So like skin conditions or asthma or something?
Yeah, asthma probably. I've had a few with asthma. I don't get a lot of people with asthma because I'm not a trained doctor. So I don't sort of put it out there. I put it out more for, life coaching with issues in life that people are dealing with, and stress and anxiety, because that's really what I have experienced in my life. And also the metaphysical side. So we need to have, as I was saying before, I love the spiritual side as well, but it has to be grounded. It has to work for us in our lives, so that we're bringing that energy and that skill and that know-how and that intelligence into the body, and we're having it work for ourselves, being much calmer, mentally, emotionally, physically, as well as spiritually, and having our lives work. So I do that sort of work, but often people will come in with different health conditions. And of course, health conditions are very related to our emotional state.
Oh, absolutely. I see all the time.
Yeah.
It's well over 90. I don't know what percentage. It's well over 90% though. Like, even contracting the cold or, the flu, people, they're immune deficient because they've been stressed or run down, or, the adrenaline in their body's pumping and they're not taking care of themselves. So, there's so many aspects to our body just, crying out for care, really, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And so the sympathetic side of the nervous system is really overactive. It's just constantly going. It's in overdrive.
Yeah.
So we have to balance the sympathetic and the parasympathetic side of the nervous system, and you can do it quite comfortably by breathing.
So does the air have to be, this sounds silly, does the air have to be good? So, for instance,
fresh air.
Yeah, or because a lot of people live in very polluted cities, or just people smoking, or
ideally, it would be great for all of us to have purified fresh air.
Yeah.
However, it's better to be breathing fully into your body than breathing really shallowly.
Yeah.
The other thing is that most people breathe upside down, Irene.
Okay.
So they're breathing, they're not using their diaphragm.
Yep.
They tend to breathe from the chest up, and they have an upward movement instead of thinking of breathing as outward.
Right, okay.
And the first point should be at the diaphragm.
So breathing down into the diaphragm.
Exactly. So it's a deep, deep breath.
Yeah, it requires a deep breath. I did some pregnancy yoga, and we did a lot of that about breathing, because obviously breathing helps during labor.
Yes.
And I actually struggled to breathe deeply, because I'm such a shallow breather that it actually was difficult. Does that make sense, or was it because I was pregnant that made it difficult?
Oh, well, the baby's pushing up under your rib cage, so that certainly doesn't help.
Yeah.
But when we're learning to breathe correctly, it feels very exaggerated. It feels a bit difficult for people. But we're breaking down like different ceilings in the chest, and eventually it becomes more flexible, and it starts to open up and expand and expand. But at first it feels tight.
So there's an element of rigidity in the lungs from not really being used, isn't it?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So it all starts to enliven again once we really know how to breathe correctly and do practice every day.
Yeah. And is there an amount of time, if someone says, if you say practice every day, is it like, 30-minute session you should do, or what kind of...
There's different ways. Look, the ultimate way would be to sit and do breathing for 20 minutes. Yeah. That would be ideal.
Yeah. And you can do it while watching TV or cooking dinner. You can do it by...
It depends. You can. That's breath awareness, and you can do it everywhere. You can do it driving the car, standing in the supermarket, cooking dinner. Yeah. You can practice that breathing at any time. That's a great thing to do, because that we want. I get people to set their phone for every hour, every couple of hours, like a special breathing ding, boom.
Yep. Yep.
And that lets them know, oh, what's my breathing doing?
Yeah.
And just doing some circular breaths, just nice and easy, nice and full through the nose.
Yeah.
So it's becoming breath aware.
Yeah.
But there's different things with breathing. If you wanted to do it, you could do it for a meditation purpose as well, where you would be sitting still in that time and actually opening yourself up. You use it when you feel that you're triggered by some sort of emotional thing that's going on.
Yeah.
Because that's when your whole being does really, really contract in on you.
Yeah.
So that's,
and it's almost like a moment, isn't it? You just say you get into an argument with a spouse or something. By taking a moment and breathing actually gives you a moment to reflect of what's about to come out of your mouth.
Exactly.
And whether it's a good idea or a bad idea,
Yeah, because once it's out, it's out. You can
it's
never
out,
take it back. Yeah.
And it's always
happens.
I was going to say, it's always those deep-seated opinions that tend to come out in that moment. So, yeah. And
we all do it.
Yeah, and it's so I guess even taking a moment. I had one of my patients. Her and her husband are having some counselling, and that's what the psychologist said is take a moment and don't be reactive. Take a breath and think before you actually say the words that are about to come out of your mouth, because you get so emotive in that I can't believe you said that to me kind of thing. And even when we were driving the other day, and this driver next to us, I think what he wanted to do was get in front of us, but as the car was turning, he kind of blocked his way of doing it, and he completely lost it. He was really angry, and it really, you know what, he would have waited a few seconds and probably gone a couple of cars after us, and in the big scheme of things we saw him next to us again, like not even within the 60 seconds, like it was just moments. And it's like that didn't need to happen, that you created all that angst within you and all that emotion, and it was
exactly right.
Such a fleeting moment. It wasn't of any value to your life, So I think taking that moment to breathe. Yeah.
And if we think of our breath and our energy as money, we're just really wasting a lot of it with those reactions. So when we can actually learn to be mindful of the breath and then respond from a different place, we're really energy efficient.
Yeah, and more calm, isn't it?
Much, much calmer. Life becomes more pleasant. We find that we get our personality back. We laugh more. We're more fun to be around.
Yeah, for sure.
Because when we're stressed and anxious and angry, and it's like, whoa, no one wants to be around us.
No.
We don't even want to be around us. We're living in pollution.
It is. It's a polluted body, isn't it? Because you get all those nasty chemicals that are released in those emotive states. So it's almost like your body becomes not septic, but a little bit of a polluted environment.
Dense black cloud.
Yeah,
inside and outside. So look, we're human and we all get into moods at different times.
Of course.
So it's about being real with it, being honest with yourself. Oh boy, I don't know what's going on here, but I'm really emotional and unbalanced today. And actually even sharing that with your spouse or some people, if it's safe to do that, around you, and actually just sitting with it and doing some light breathing, going for walks. We don't have to, often we punish ourselves for all of those things. So it's about being really kind with ourselves, but being diligent.
Yeah, I think that's good. But definitely being kind, because we're not about being perfect.
No,
it's about being aware and making changes and growing from our experiences, because that's how we become who we are, because we experience not the greatest situations and we kind of evolve from that to be better people. So
definitely.
I think that's an important factor.
Yeah,
this is amazing. I always, whenever I see you at the radio show, I'm always like, got to do that breath work. I'm very aware that I'm a shallow breather, and the basic fundamental of skin health is good lung chi. And when lung chi is deficient, or it moves in the wrong way, because that's what asthma is. It's when it's not descending and dispersing. So what we want is our chi to descend and disperse. And when it's not doing that, it causes breathing irregularities. So knowing that it needs to do that, I'm I'm kind of one of those people like, yes, I need to do it, and then I get caught up. So being present, I think, is a big start for people to start looking at how they're breathing, because they're maybe not even aware that they are breathing shallow.
That's right. Most people aren't.
Yeah. And doing something like what you offer, where you have that assessment, you actually can identify to what level someone is breathing, because you said we've all got those different levels, and what they can do to
hold. We
Great.
hold in different places. Some people, might hold halfway out, some people halfway in, and they're just breathing from that spot continuously. The shoulders get caught in different positions, the chest's not open. There's all sorts of things, and different ceilings or blockages in the body. So once we understand that and we're aware of it, we can start to make the changes.
And you need to break through those blockages in order to get the chi or the air, the oxygen, to the cellular level, isn't it? It doesn't reach that level. That's why things like the hyperbaric chamber is good, because people are breathing in pure oxygen, but not everyone can go sit in a hyperbaric chamber, especially if you're feeling claustrophobic. So it's almost like you have to generate your own hyperbaric chamber by learning how to breathe.
And that's in any situation, anywhere. So what it does, it really is very empowering for the person. So it's like taking your power back, that you know that whatever situation you come up against in life, and boy, there's many challenging situations we all have, that we have this anchor inside us that we can turn to, that we know we can get through any situation in life. Because, I haven't had panic attacks now for donkey's years, a couple of decades, but my God, they are crippling. Absolutely crippling.
They are paralyzing.
Very literally. And that's what used to happen to me. I used to become paralyzed. They're just best thing that ever happened, though, because it changed my life.
I know. And that's the thing I've noticed with everyone I have interviewed for this podcast, is everyone's come from a place of their own crisis, and they needed to identify a variety of solutions for them to get through it. And it is always going down the organic aspect. So you're simply saying breathing. I mean, there's nothing more organic than your breath, and yet it's really dawned on me with the fact that it does start from such a young age. I didn't realize it was from such a young age, but it does, because we get in these obviously, like you said, we need some sort of discipline and boundaries and direction. But as a little human being, the children, they kind of take it upon themselves, and that angst associated with that reaction that they're getting. So it's a matter of talking through that with them and saying, it's not a bad thing. It was actually okay, and everything's fine, and making sure that they're breathing well. And look, the little children are good at expressing, because if they don't like something, they It's quite healthy. Absolutely.
Pushing it down.
Absolutely.
Oh dear.
Yeah. I know my little boys taught me a lot.
Oh, I think they're the greatest teachers. If you can get through parenthood, you can get through anything.
If you can get through the terrible twos, and what is it, the three-nagers and all that sort of stuff.
Exactly.
But it's what I've noticed with my little one, with being with the tantrums, which really he's not very bad. He doesn't express them much, but it's always when, hey, I've got this insight or this opinion on something, and I'm really doing this right now, and I don't want to do what you're telling me to do. And it almost like it's an element of respect that they're asking for. It's right now I'm playing with my cars, so I don't want you to change my nappy. I don't want to do a bath, because right now I'm in this thought process of what I want to do with these cars.
I'm in my happy zone, and I want to stay here. Thank you.
But sweetheart, you've done a poo. I don't care that I've done a poo. I want to play with my cars.
Look, it's a balancing act, isn't it?
Really, and I think understanding that they have their right to their opinion. I know we're kind of delving now into children, but the fact that it all starts there has been huge for me to recognize these sort of things that happen in him, because I don't want him to sort of do what I'm doing. But the beauty is that, like you said, the body is in constant state of rejuvenation, so we can change these at any point, which is really good to know. So if people want to come and see you, what's the best way? Do they go to the website, or is there a phone number? Or?
The website is good, and that has my mobile number on it, and it has my email address on there.
What's the URL of the website?
Breathe for Life, BREATHE FORLIFE. .com.au. breatheforlife.com.au. Yeah. So all the details are on there.
Yeah, and also they can come in and have a review and see where they're at, because I honestly believe that despite what condition they might have, in addition to perhaps their emotions, it will really promote the healing process. So whatever medicines or treatment they're doing, I think it would actually promote their healing process because they don't have that stagnation that you're talking about.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, there's 70% of our toxins. And, you know, you would think going to the toilet and mainly, 70% of our toxins are released through the breath.
Yeah.
And if we're not breathing correctly, where are they going?
They're going out through the skin.
Yeah.
You know, and also the lymphatic system, but they can block up the circulation there. But the lungs are a detoxifying organ. I don't think people are aware of that. That the lungs detoxify.
Yeah, and it breathes energy into every single cell of the body.
Yeah.
It's not just oxygen we're breathing in.
Yeah.
You know, in 1994, I think it was, or 3, I did this course, and it was like a 6 or 8 week course, and 2 weeks of it was residential, and it was a lot to do with meditation and breathing. And we just did it all day, every day. You should have seen the glow in everybody in that group. That's the thing that really amazed me about the breath.
And how many days were you doing that, did you say?
We did it for 2 weeks straight.
Oh,
14 days. Yeah.
Wow.
Incredible. Everyone looked 10 years younger.
Yeah.
Everyone had this beautiful glowing skin.
Yeah.
And you were just in this totally different state, but we were away from the outside world and there was no interruptions.
So you'd have the purity of air as well in that moment too, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
So we don't get to do that, you know, realistically, but we can breathe every day and just be breath aware and bring a lot more of that element into our lives.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. Thank you so much for being on my show. It's like I said, every time I speak to you, it just really solidifies the importance of breathing. And I think sometimes by going on your way, you do forget. So coming in and seeing you and saying, right, this is our process. This is what we're going to do. This is where you're at, and this is where we aim to go. It's that level of accountability as well that sometimes we need when we want to make these changes. And like I said, the organic state is our breath, and starting from there and then going and trying other things or incorporating other things is going to help facilitate optimal health. So I think it's fantastic what you do, and I think
it's very honouring. You know, it's about honouring yourself.
Yeah,
really honouring all those things about yourself and being kind. And I mean, you do wonderful work with your patients, Irene, and your background with your skin, and you know, it's really led you down your pathway.
Yeah,
so, you know, it's wonderful that we can all connect in our own ways and bring those things that we don't know about to other people's lives and them to us. I mean, my clients teach me so much. They're brilliant.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. I learn things so much from my patients. And I think, you know, health, it's a multifaceted approach. You know, whenever with my skin, I was always trying to look for that, you know, that magic bullet, that well, not the magic bullet, but maybe the magic pill that would give me that instant relief and, I can just revert back to when I was healthy. And obviously that doesn't happen. And the amount of learning that transpires as a result of your adversities, which, you know, you don't like at that moment, but at the end of it, you go, that was more than a blessing. That was just ridiculously necessary for me to make the changes I need to make. So I think, you know, recognizing the importance of how we breathe is only, I think, the starting point, and then you can go from there. But to manage your emotions will just cascade into every aspect of your life. And like you said, you'll have better relationships. Even with friends, you'll have better relationships.
Yeah, there's an intimacy.
Colleagues. Yeah.
It's a real intimacy with yourself that starts to happen. And then, of course, that's reflective of your relationships. And there's a beautiful intimacy with your friends, with your clients and patients, with everyone, just with life.
Yeah. And who you draw to you, isn't it?
Yes.
Who comes into your life.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again, Christine. We could talk forever about this. It's a fascinating subject, and I think it's important for everyone to take into consideration the way they're breathing and what they can do to change it. So I thank you for your time.
You're welcome, and be very kind to your husband and when you leave the interview.
I'll breathe before I speak.
Give him a hug. Just give him a big hug.
I'll breathe, and then I'll go, I can't believe you just came in there. But you came in the perfect moment, I'll tell you. So you just highlight the fact that I hold my breath in those moments.
I just loved it. I thought it was gorgeous that he opened the door. We didn't even get to see him. It sort of opened and closed.
Oh, you didn't? Oh, okay. Oh, that was funny. Okay. Well, you have a great day, Christine. And thank you for your time. I truly appreciate it.
Very welcome.
Thank you.
See you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.